thrilled to welcome all of you for this very, very exciting edition of ET Best Organizations for Women 2026. And as we get to celebrate the powerful women amongst us, what theme than power, progress, and parity could have been an absolutely fantastic one to set the tone. But to make sure that this evening we get to hear a very inspiring lady who I have had the opportunity not just to be a part of, not just to see the way she's grown, but I think when you enter a batch amongst IPS officers of 80 and you are the only lady in that room, it takes a lot to be there. It takes a lot to go ahead there. I am talking about the one person who held her hand when she was playing tennis. So in the court and then in her journey in life, creating not just a place for herself, but making sure people know what it meant when she entered a room. And I'm sure each one of you here know exactly who I'm talking about. May I request all of you to please put your hands together for the former Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, the first female IPS of India. Please put your hands together as I welcome Kiran Bedi ji on this stage. Not only do I feel she's a powerful lady, but a lady that inspires so many of us and continues to do so with her kind words, with her presence, and with every element that she adds on. Ma'am, it is always a delight to listen in, to be here welcoming you. So thank you so very much for your presence yet again. And I'm sure my audience is looking forward to hearing from you. So may I request you to please join us and start this beautiful evening on a note. Yeah, sure. Would you like to use this one?
Prefer this, but this is too close. Can we stay back?
Yeah. Comfortable?
Looks like. Now check.
Can we do an audio check, please?
Check.
Audience members, bear with us as we do an audio check for the podium mic, please.
Are we checking?
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yes.
Thank you.
All yours.
Let me begin by saying thank you very much for this invitation. I've made it just in time for the flight, to be with you. Flown in from Delhi I landed by 4:35, and I'm say dot on time, and we're starting on time. Thank you very much, the ET, whoever it is who's invited me. It is the ET Edge of the Times Group. Very grateful. It's for me a wonderful organization to return to. I believe you do leadership programs, and you thought me eligible to be part of you today. I have a great presentation for you, something which relates with was as said as the introduction. I would remember your name, who invited me. Anika. Anika is what? Anika? Anika? Content. No. Anika's surname. Mola. Anika, where are you? Let me say thank you to you, Anika. Please come up. Thank you, Anika, for inviting me, because Anika and I have been on the phone on a regular basis. Thank you, Anika, for inviting me of the Times Group. I think you
had put your hands together
really
for
Anika. Anika. Thank you, Anika, for inviting me and bringing us all together.
It's been an honor.
Thank you, Anika. This is from the ET Edge, right? Now, friends, for these 10 minutes I have about 10 slides for you to move it fast. We will not lose time, as the subject is here. Now, future and past. Let me begin right away. Where are we? No frills and frocks, straightway to the point. Where are we? And in these 10 minutes which I have, if there's any time left, I will prove it by evidence, a case study, probably a personal case study, but if we have time. Now let's look at recruitment. where are we as far as we're concerned? Recruitment. Women are concerned. There are lots old and new because that's the focus. What's the old? Old recruitment is let's hire somebody who would fit in. And new is structured, biased, free hiring. That's the need. This is to the men who are leaders and the CEOs who do the recruitments. But also, we will probably relate with this or what's happening to some of us. On fit, this didn't apply to me. I'll come back to you later. On fit, often biased because mine was a competitive examination, so I had to qualify. But I have seen this where when we hired, is it a fit? It's a fit, often biased, and structured is new. Structured is bias-free hiring. How do we do this? I'll come back to this. What must change in this recruitment? Remove hidden bias in hiring filters. How? How do you do that? Is diverse interview panels. One of the suggestions. There are many, but I'm sticking to one each because of the paucity of time. So the how will be diverse interview panels. By whom? Leadership, oversight. That's the key. So what must change? Remove the hidden bias in hiring filters. Remember, we were talking about recruitment. Career growth is the second point, which is coming in our way. If we're thinking women are equal in our employment, in recruitment, in our leadership, in our growth, in our career, no, we are not. There's a lot of tokenism which is going on. Let's understand that. And we are also leaders to remove it because many of our women also are in a leadership position to remove. We also have a role to play. So let's understand it's not just the men, it's also women in leadership who have to play this role. So the old is promotions based on visibility. Now, what is visibility? Late hours, late dinners, drinking clubs. So it's promotions based on visibility, where the man is visible, the woman goes home, by and large. New is growth based on impact. That's the way. If it is visibility, the new will be needing what is the impact. Now, how will the impact come? That's a matter of panel. Since I'm the keynote introducer, I'm throwing challenges onto you. What are the challenges before us, issues before us, for us to discuss one by one threadbare? Second, what must change? Redefine career progression. How? Career breaks, normalization. Women take career breaks and it's not considered normal. She loses out on many things. By whom? Business leaders. So what must change is redefine career progression. Now, I'm giving you the concepts, leaving for you to take home for panel discussions. Third, performance evaluation. Old is who's seen more. Who's seen more wins. The new is outcome-based evaluation. Fourth, what must change? Remove the subjectivity. How? Standard review criterion. And by whom? Leadership and the HR. HR is playing a very major role, but if you notice, HR is not being left alone. HR is with leadership and the management. So it's leadership plus HR. How? Standardized review criterion. If you want more, we can come to the Q&A later as an expansion. Fourth, meetings and daily culture. Meetings and daily cultures. What was the old? Old was dominated by few voices, and they dominated. The male voices, they dominate the voice. So maybe we are in the room, but the voices which dominate are not us, those individuals, they're others. What is new, which is required, is very inclusive participation. 5. What must change is the way we meet. The meeting behavior changes. Meeting behavior is how? Inclusive facilitation plus. And third, by whom? All employees. Now, inclusive facilitation would mean, I'll come to the detail as it comes. It will explain to you as it comes. But I'm keeping the theme, the continuity alive. Fifth, leadership and boards. Old is token representation in the boards. We have tokenism. Oh, we have a one member on the trust board. We have a one member on the board. But sorry, there are 10. You have only one. It's tokenism. It's not 50-50. It's not even 40-60. It's tokenism. So in the boards, it is tokenism so far. So it's token representation, plus many other reasons. New is women in decision-making roles. That means substantially many more in the boards. Sixth, what must change is power distribution. How? Board diversity targets plus many more other. By whom? The CEO and the board. Sixth, policies. They also have to change. So we're looking at recruitment, career progression, meeting culture, etc. Now this is sixth. What is that is needed to be changed? Old is static and rigid. I'll prove it if I get the time. New, life-aligned and dynamic policies. That is the new which is required. Now, these are our requirements, friends, one by one, which need to be addressed, and they're not being adequately addressed at all. Whether we accept it or we don't, but I know internally we do. 7, what must change is the lived experience. How? The caregiver support. By whom? HR leadership. Caregiving is considered being having step down. For me, caregiving is not a step down. It's a transition. It's just a movement to the other end, not a step down. And something like, as I come further, I'll explain. So how caregiver support is not looked down upon, but it's a part of the humanity and the biology and the profession. Project allocation, 7. Is high visibility work to the same group all the time. Same group gets the high visibility. New is equal access opportunities. If you notice, the project allocations normally goes back to the same visible group again and again. Many of you, even when you're equally worthy, you're ignored. But the new is equal access to opportunities according to the merit, according to the qualification. This is 7. 8. What must change in this? In this, opportunity distribution, which means assign women to strategic projects and many more. By whom? Managers and business heads. This is what is required if you have to eliminate that bias and that discrimination. Empowerment. Let's look at the 8th, the work culture. Old is informal boys' clubs. That's the old culture. And the new culture is transparent and inclusive culture. How will it change? What must change? How is inclusive networking? By whom? Leadership and entire organization. 9, accountability. Accountability, old is HR responsibility. Diversity is HR responsibility. No, it's HR responsibility, yes, but it's leadership with key performance indicators. So diversity is equal to leadership, key performance indicators. What must change? Ownership. Ownership must change on how? Link diversity to performance reviews. By whom? The CEOs, the CXOs, and the board. That must change. The ownership must change. What is success metrics in our view? Success metrics, friends, is old was profit. Profit only mindset. Now it's profit plus inclusion and plus sustainability. All 3. How will it change? What must change? What we measure. What we measure is retention tracking. If we measure retention tracking, it will help. By whom? Leadership and strategy teams. So here is all the points I mentioned to you. These are all subjects for further panel discussions for each one of you. When you go back home, look at the way we recruit. Look at the way we do career growth. Look at the way we do performance evaluation. Look at the way we have our meetings in daily culture. Look at the leadership and boards. Look at the policies. Look at the project allocation. Look at the work culture. Look at the accountability and look at the success metrics. I've given you the methodology. I've given you only indicators. You can add more. That's why we use the word plus in that, so that there's not one point. It's many others. We can add as we discuss further, as you discuss in your panels. So what must change? Systems have to change. Systems have to change. Power structures have to change. Culture has to change. So don't go by tokenism. It hasn't changed yet. And I'll explain to you why and how. How will it change? Let's answer that. Through data, design, and accountability. By embedding inclusion into every process. And then by linking equality to business outcomes. This is how it will change. Through data, design, data would also be blind sometimes, gender blind. Design and accountability by embedding inclusion into every process. Look at every process and see where are you included. Where is a deserving woman included if she is existing around? And then linking equality to business outcomes. Look at the outcomes. And outcome research is continuously proving where women are actually integral part of the company, the GDP goes up or the outcomes go up. Why are we ignoring it? Who must drive this change, friends? Leaders own the challenge. They must own the challenge. Managers implement daily behavior, and human resource design the systems. They've got to design, just not implement. Design the systems, and employees sustain the culture and even provoke the culture, incite the culture. So now, as of now, the change required. Look at this. As of now, it is finding the fit. It's linear. It is visibility or seen. Few voices, tokenism, static, same group, all boys club, diversity only HR, only profit. What is required is potential. Recognize the potential in every woman. Impact, career progression, outcome-based, inclusive presence, power distribution, dynamic policy, equal access to opportunities, transparency, ownership, and profit sustainability. This is the now. That is the change required. If we understand these are our challenges which we have to sustain and carry forward. Conclusion. Look at it. This is no longer about adding women into the system. It is about redesigning every system that shapes opportunity. Every system which shapes opportunity. From who gets hired, to who gets heard, to who gets promoted. Who gets hired? Who? Who gets heard? Who gets promoted? Change must be intentional, measurable, and owned by leadership. This is the only way I could do justice to this presentation in the 10 minutes given to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. I think each and every point that you mentioned here today holds so true. And today when you shared that we're talking about opportunities given to access, and very rightly mentioned by you, yes, way back in 2013, when the act came that we've got to have at least one lady on the board. But how many companies today are compliant? Almost all listed companies.
Why one lady? Why one lady?
Exactly the question.
As many people as capable, maybe many.
Absolutely.
Many.
Absolutely.
So why one? I am amazed. Why? And we accept it and digest it and be very happy with one on the board.
And in fact,
we
now
need to question it.
Almost 13 years down the line, while everybody is compliant, what's really going to happen is that it is time for us to ask our audience and get to know what everybody's thinking as well. But before that, let me take this opportunity and thank you for your time here. I'll also be welcoming you on stage a little later once again to felicitate our wonderful leaders here. But please do put your hands together for ma'am, as we truly do appreciate her presence here. I'll be happy to take that.
Don't need this now.
Thank you so very much. May I? I'll be happy to escort you. May I request my wonderful guests to please put their hands together as I thank ma'am for joining in.